Where did the time go? How are we already in July? How is it the end of July? Where is time going? Honestly, tell me. Tell me. I always feel like this at the end of July because August is my birthday month. So I'm always like, oh my god, it's almost my birthday. Oh my god, where did the time go? It's already been a year. Oh my god, the panic sets in. Anyway, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Car Diaries. There's a car passing by. Give me a second. Oh, I was supposed to come up with my highs and lows. Ooh, my highs and lows of July. Honestly, July felt like it was 4 hours long. Like, I don't think I experienced July. Like, it went so fast, I don't even think I experienced a high or a low. In today's video, I really want to talk about something that has been something I've been dealing with since I was a kid. For as long as I can remember, I've always had these vivid imaginations. And I just assumed that everyone did. I always assumed that everyone had a different version of themselves in their head. For me, my entire life, for what it feels like, has been imagined, spent in my head. I remember sitting in class, just drifting off, imagining that one day I will marry a prince, or I was a famous YouTuber, or a beloved famous actress, or a business owner. I just chalked it up to being like a wild kid's imagination. That's what every kid did, no? That's just how I spent my time. But as I got older, the dreams changed. But the habit of getting lost in a different world did not. I remember one day I was scrolling through TikTok and I stumbled upon a video talking about maladaptive daydreaming, and it caught my attention immediately because it spoke to me. Have you ever got lost in your daydream and lost track of time? Yes. Do you have these intense imaginations? Yes. Well, you might have maladaptive daydreaming. What the fuck is that? I always thought it was just a normal thing to do, just to pass time out of boredom. But as I read more into it, I realized how many people actually struggle with maladaptive daydreaming and how many people's life is actually affected by it. I didn't realize that most of my time is spent daydreaming. I would spend hours and hours and I wouldn't even realize it. I always thought that I never had friends because I couldn't find any. But in reality, I found myself wanting to spend time daydreaming at home rather than spending time with my friends. Like, it became so addictive. But I never realized that. Like, it was never like something I know that I'm doing this because, I'm coping, and I never knew it was like a coping mechanism. I think over the years, I became so sufficed with the ideas and the success and the achievements that I had in my head, that I made up in my head, that I stopped even trying to achieve them in real life. Like, it's so addictive to know that in a matter of minutes you can become whoever you want, whenever you want. I could achieve things in a matter of hours that would normally take someone years or even decades to achieve. I think I like the control of it, because if I didn't like something I said, boom, rewind, I didn't say it. I never said it. Oh, I didn't like the outcome of that storyline. Well, I'm gonna try again. I could alter this storyline. It's a flawless reality. And life is not that. You cannot control your life. Like, life is so unpredictable. That's why I think it became so addictive for me, because, you have no friends? Well, now you have the biggest friend group. Oh, you are shy and socially anxious? Well, now you're the most outgoing person ever. Oh, you feel stupid and unachieved? Well, now you speak 10 languages, you graduated from an Ivy League, you won a Nobel Peace Prize, everyone praises you. And even though I don't really want to like daydream, I think my life is so boring in comparison that it became so addictive to just daydream instead of living in the reality of your own life. Because it's so boring in comparisons. I dream about achieving things that I have not yet done or maybe never will. And it's like, I would rather do that than sit in the reality of my own shitty life, my own unaccomplished life. And honestly, if I can be quite frank, it makes me forget about how shitty my life is. But I never realized or never recognized how much I actually daydream on a day-to-day basis. I think I do it every day for hours. It feels like you live your life like your normal daily life, and then you get burned out, and then you start daydreaming, and then you daydream for, I don't know, hours, and then you snap out of it, and then you are so depressed and sad because you wasted hours daydreaming instead of actually doing what you were meant to do. And then you become depressed because at the end of the day, you haven't achieved shit. And then this cycle just continues. It's a never-ending loop for me. The first time I caught myself daydreaming was when I moved to Kenya. I was so depressed in Kenya. My family and I moved to Kenya right before I was supposed to graduate middle school. And because I couldn't speak the language, Swahili, the national language in Kenya, I was sent back. I was sent back 3 grades. And even though there was no possible way I could speak the language, I felt like such a failure for getting sent back grades. And it felt like my life was put on pause. But everyone else's back at home, my peers, my classmates, they were graduating middle school, they were going to high school, they met new friends. Like, I lived through my peers and my classmates vicariously. Through social media, I was seeing how they were achieving things and doing all these things and going on trips and doing all these things that, I don't know, you do in high school. But I was sent back. I felt like such a failure. The only times I felt happy was when I daydreamed. I daydreamed that I was more successful than my peers because I moved to Kenya because I did ABCD. I was too smart. I was this, I was that. I was so much more successful. Like, all in my fucking head. But if I didn't do that, I would think about the situation I was in, and I would just cry. I would cry, and I would cry, and I would be so depressed. And then my only escape was daydreaming, was not being here, was not living in the reality of my own. So I was so, oh my god, Kenya was a different time. I used to be so outgoing. I used to be so loud. But Kenya made me so timid. I used to just sit in my bedroom, daydream for hours, go to school, come back home, daydream, go to school, come back home, daydream. It was the first time I clocked it. I was like, whoa. I snapped out of it once and I was like, whoa, that was weird. I cringed on myself. That was the first time I remember daydreaming to a intense level. I went down a rabbit hole reading about maladaptive daydreaming, and I'm not self-diagnosing myself or am I giving medical advice go seek professional help. I don't even think MD is recognized in the DSM-5 or the ICD-11. So seek medical help. I don't know, if you think, seek professional help. I am not a doctor or any medical thingy-majiggy. I'm just talking to talk, to be honest. But I was reading about other people's experiences and seeing how many people actually struggle with it and how it affects people's life made me realize that what I was doing, not normal, but had negative effects on my life. It made me sad that I hadn't realized it sooner, that what I was doing was a coping mechanism, was a form of escape, was a form of like loneliness. And I just wish I like clocked that sooner, because then I would have tried to quit. Because what I was doing, I didn't even think it was quittable. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even think, like, I just thought, oh, that's just how humans are. We daydream. We get lost in these stories. That's just normal. And then I read, like, I was on Reddit, and I realized, like, wow, it's not that it's not normal, but, like, not everyone does it. Like, people have healthy brains and, like, do not drift off randomly and, like, spend hours in the head of these stories and these characters that don't even exist. One Reddit post, I think, said something along the lines of, my entire life has been lived inside an imagination. And I was like, I felt not disgusted, but like I felt really guilty that I related to it. That, wow, most of my good memories and most of my things have been imagined. Like, I have lived a long time in my head. Imaginary memories, imaginary conversations, imaginary friends, imaginary adventures. I feel so cringe saying this out loud. Like, what the fuck do I mean, imaginary friends? Like, that's what you would think only a child goes through that. That's why I thought it was so normal as a child. I was like, oh, imaginary friends. Like, I talk to these people who don't exist. That's normal, right? That's normal, right? I see people who are not here. That's normal, right? And then while I was reading about maladaptive daydreaming, I read about, like, obviously people's experiences, and I realized that I had triggers that kind of enables my daydreaming. Like, sometimes it is purely out of boredom. Like, I'm bored and I just don't want to be bored anymore, so I drift off. But I noticed that when I read, I love reading, but sometimes I find myself daydreaming about being the main character instead of actually reading the story. So I'm like sitting there reading, and then I notice that I haven't read in like an hour. Like, I'm so far away from the actual story, but I'm the character now. I'm like living in that world, in that fantasy world or whatever the story is, but I haven't read the book. I've fully stopped reading because of my daydream. Also, laying in bed, I honestly don't know why, but I mostly daydream in bed. Whether that is like right before oh my god, I do this all the time. Right before I fall asleep, I daydream for like hours, and then I never fall asleep. And then I'm up for hours, and all of a sudden I hear like bird sounds, and like the room is getting lighter because the sun has risen. And I'll just sit there daydreaming instead of actually sleeping. That's how most of the times when I fuck up my sleep schedule is because I've daydreamed for so long. It's not on my phone. Like, some people are like, oh, they're so addicted to their phone that, oh, the time flies and all of a sudden it's morning. But for me, it's daydreaming. I daydream for hours before I go to bed, and then boom, it's morning and I have messed up my sleep schedule. But my main trigger, and what I noticed when I read other people's stories and like experiences, is a lot of people's main trigger as well is music. I love listening to music. I make playlists for scenarios. Like, I make playlists to enhance my storyline. If I'm walking out in public and I have music on, the entire world looks so different. I feel like they do that in movies a lot, or like TV shows, but they select certain songs or certain sounds so the audience can like feel along with the movie. I do the same thing, but for my daydreams. Like, I have certain songs that trigger it. And, like, it's a whole ass movie up here. Like, it's a whole ass movie up here. I feel like I've been talking so much about maladaptive daydreaming. Let me explain what it is from what I have learned and what I've read. Maladaptive daydreaming, or MD, is where someone have like intense, immersive, vivid imaginations, but it actually interferes with their daily lives, like work or relationships or responsibilities. Maladaptive daydreaming is different from regular daydreaming, which I didn't know. Because I think people who daydream just like to daydream can like snap out of it, or like they're like short periods. But like maladaptive daydreaming is really hard to control. You can daydream and all of a sudden lose track of time, which is actually the scariest part to me. Because for me, when I daydream, I really am lost all my sense of reality, which is really scary to me. Because all of a sudden I look at the time and it's time to go to bed. And I look at the day and I'm like, where did it go? What did I do today? Nothing. That's the scariest part for me, because it really makes me feel like I have no control over my body sometimes. People who have maladaptive daydreaming, or MD, they know that fantasies or their imaginations aren't real. When I first clocked that I was daydreaming, I was really scared and concerned about my mental health. I was like, is this schizophrenia? Like, what the fuck is this? Because for the longest time, I never clocked that I was doing it. I was just doing it automatically. Like, my brain just did it. But then sometimes I will snap out of it and I'll be like, whoa, what was that? And I'll be really scared, because sometimes I would just be pacing and have these daydreams, and then I like snap out of it and I'm all of a sudden not in the room that I was, and I get really scared sometimes. I'm like, wow, I really don't have any control over my body or my mind. But like, instead of facing real life problems like loneliness, anxiety, you escape to these worlds or these imaginations to not deal with them. And then once you snap out of it and realize that whatever is happening up here is not real, it becomes like really depressing, at least for me. Because I do believe that when I'm in my daydream, it feels real, but I know it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but like, it's like I still feel the same dopamine that I would have felt if it was real. So when I realize, oh, it's not real, I get really depressed. I'm like, oh, yeah. I look around and I'm like, oh, this is actually my life. Fun. I really want to stop. I really want to stop daydreaming. I really want to live my life. I keep imagining, lol, imagining. But I keep imagining the person I would have been if I just stopped. Or just never did it. Like, what kind of person would have been? Like, what would I have achieved? Because honestly, it takes me 5 times the amount of effort to just focus on one thing, because I slowly drift off and then hours go by and then the day is over and then rinse and repeat. So I'm like, wow, like, if I just could control my mind, how many things would I have achieved? And it makes me so sad, because also, oh my god, I don't want to cry. Ew, I don't want to cry. Ew, I don't want to cry. That's cringe. But like, I'm turning 24. You know? Ew, don't cry. That's so cringe. And I'm just like, damn, I wasted so much time. Ew. Ew, don't cry. That's so embarrassing. Stop. Like, I wasted so much time living in these fake reality. Like, I keep having to daydream, and I don't even know why, or I don't even know how to control it, and it's just like so frustrating because I wish I knew what I was doing earlier so I could go quit or like gotten help. I don't know, but I just feel like I wasted so much time. Ew, that's so cringe. Anyway, let me get myself together. I really want to quit. I really want to stop or like do it less. While reading about like maladaptive daydream, I was on like a Reddit subreddit, and I was reading about how people like overcome it, or like they're so much happier once they stopped, and like they can finally like live their life. I wanted to read something that it was on that subreddit, and it like made me sob. Like I was so sad. It says I fantasized about happiness for so long that I don't know what happiness in real life looks like. And I was like sobbing, cause like what the fuck is happiness in real life? Like I like I don't know if I've ever felt happy in real life. You know, like have all my good memories have they only been in my head? So yeah, that line or whatever, that post really made me want to quit. Like really made me want to learn how to stop. And like noticing triggers, like I don't listen to as much music now, like, or when I do, I try not to like the thing with music, I don't even listen to music to listen to music. I listen to music to daydream. I don't even think I actually listen to the lyrics. Anyway, I did not expect to get emotional. That was embarrassing. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know. It is kind of my life, and I like this this series that I'm doing. I've been journaling for a really long time, but I feel like saying things out loud, like, and hearing yourself, like, is like gonna help me a lot with dealing with shit. So, you know, thanks for listening. If you're listening, thanks for watching. It does help me. Sometimes I feel like I really wish I could read other people's minds. So like, cause for the longest time I just thought what I was doing was normal. I really wish I could read someone's mind. Like, what do they think of if they don't daydream? Cause like I've been doing it for so long. Do they just think about do they just think about real life problems? Like, oh my god, please no. I forgot I was in public for a second. I was like, whoa. I saw someone, I was like, ugh, please don't look at me. For me, when I stop daydreaming for the day, or like for the time being, it kind of feels like pausing a TV episode. Like, I will resume it later on. Like, I have reoccurring characters and storylines and these characters that I'm emotionally invested to. Oh my god, please, this cyclist is gonna come. Hold on, let me pretend that I'm not fucking filming. Okay, I'm just gonna oh my god, why are you biking so slow? This is actually crazy. Like, holy shit, this is the slowest. Oh my god, I swear this guy was biking so slow. It was like he was biking in slow motion. What the hell? Anyway, it's like these characters that emotionally invested to. Like, they have names and personalities. Like, even saying that out loud is so cringe, but it's true. When I have a thought or an opinion, I literally pretend I have an audience. I'm like, I do that when I'm reading too. When I read, I'm like, listen, y'all. Like, can you believe it? And there's no one fucking there. That's why I was like, oh my god, do I have schizophrenia? Like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, I actually mentally ill. I got really scared. I was like, what is happening? Anyway, And also when I'm driving, I pretend I'm like taking a driving test, and I have like a driving instructor next to me. Like I don't know how to be with myself. I also noticed that. Like every time I'm by myself, it's like I need company. So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just like really lonely. Maybe I'm just that lonely that I'm imagining having people to talk to, which is sad AF to think about and realizing. But I want to actively stop what I'm doing. Like, no, nowadays, like, I feel like I've been, like, it's been a week since I've, like, realized, or, like, even been reading, like, maladaptive daydreaming. But every time I catch myself drifting off, I'm like, no, girl, no, come back to reality. And it's actually been kind of good. I'm like, I am catching myself now. Also, when I am reading, every time I find myself drifting off, I'm like, no, come back. It's like talking to a kid. Like, no, focus. Here you go. No, sit. No, focus. Focus. Hello. No, here. Hey, read. Sit. No, sit. Don't pace. Sit. It's so embarrassing. I don't know. I keep saying embarrassing, but like, I didn't know how many people dealt with it. And I was like, wow, I'm not alone. And it kind of feels comforting knowing that there's people who are struggling with it and actively trying to stop, and people who actively do did MD or like daydreamed or whatever have stopped. So it's possible to stop. You know what I mean? It's very comforting to know that it's a possibility, and I'm very excited to, like, I don't know. I've been doing it for 24 years. Like, I don't know my life without it. But I don't. When I was reading, sorry, I have so many thoughts. When I was reading on the Reddit and like people's experiences stopping, some people's MD or like some people's daydreams kind of just stopped out of nowhere, and people actually felt like lost, or like felt like a sense of like felt sad that they no longer had the ability to daydream. And some people missed it. That's what, like, they missed daydreaming but no longer can, from what I remember. And I know that I'm not gonna miss it. Yes, there's like storylines that I've been building for years. Like, I'm telling you, if I told you what I daydream about, it's so mundane. Like, it's so mundane. Like, people on these subreddits is like, oh, I'm like this superhero, and like I'm flying on dragons, and I have this. Mine is so mundane. Mine is literally, oh my god. Some of my daydreams I study. Like, I'm studying law. Like, I'm taking the bar exam. You know what I mean? Like, it's so boring. But sometimes I'm just going out with friends that I don't have, just hanging out. Or like when I listen to music, I'm like pretending to sing along with my friends. It's so mundane. And it's so like achievable, rather than like living in an actual fantasy world. This guy on the bike again. I'm sorry. Also, I find it so... Sorry, I have so many thoughts. I find it so fascinating. Like, sometimes, do you ever just, like, people watch? Like, that person on that bike he's his own main character. You know what I mean? What is that word called? Sunder? What is that word called when you realize that everyone else is their own main character? I think it's that with an S. But, like, that person have, like, a mom and a dad, and, like, I feel like I forget that sometimes. Anyway, this was emotionally draining. I just noticed my energy just went whoop. So I am probably going to end it right here. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you have ever experienced anything that I've talked about, like, again, the reason why I don't say maladaptive daydreaming, because like again, I don't want to self-diagnose myself. But if you ever daydream, let me know. And if you have been dealing with MD and have stopped or want to stop or actively trying to stop, let me know how you're doing. And if you want to, subscribe, like this video. It will mean the world to me. So yeah, I will see you guys in another video. Bye.